Buchenwald, a dumb portrayal of evil. Problem 1, the lampshade. The story is that when the Americans came into the Buchenwald concentration camp, they found a lampshade made out of tattooed human skin. It was then placed on a table so that 1,000 people from the nearby city of Weimar could be brought in on foot to view what the Nazis had done. The problem is that when you take a lampshade made out of tattooed human skin and place it on a table outside on a sunny day, the sun shines through it, revealing that it's not a lampshade made out of tattooed human skin. One can see that there's no tattoos on it, and there's no stitching seams connecting pieces of human skin. There's just a basic lampshade, which is why this lamp had to disappear after the psychological power of suggestion had created a myth about it. It disappeared so that no one could ever look at it or test it. Problem 2, objectivity in the filmed footage. When the Americans came into Buchenwald, they brought movie cameras to document what they found. Now you would think that the person in charge of filming the camp would be just a basic soldier, maybe a 20-year-old from Nebraska who 2 years earlier was playing varsity high school basketball and working at his dad's camera shop on weekends. Someone with no particular axe to grind. But that's not the case, because we see someone accidentally stepping into the scene as the cameras are rolling. Who is it? It's Billy Wilder, the guy who directed Marilyn Monroe in Some Like It Hot. We go to the Internet Movie Database. Originally planning to become a lawyer, Billy Wilder abandoned that career in favor of working as a reporter for a Viennese newspaper. Using this experience to move to Berlin, where he worked for the city's largest tabloid, he broke into films as a screenwriter in 1929 and wrote scripts for many German films until Adolf Hitler came to power in 1933. Wilder immediately realized his Jewish ancestry would cause problems, so he emigrated to Paris, then the US, although he spoke no English when he arrived in Hollywood. So this is someone who does have an axe to grind because the Nazis forced him out of Germany. He doesn't even have to wear a military uniform. He wears the cliché director's garb of all black with a beret. Problem 3, hair length of the shrunken heads. There are 2 shrunken heads on the table. Granted that when a head gets shrunk, the hair will be in a new proportion to the head and will appear longer. But this guy's hands are not shrunk. Wouldn't you say the hair is about as long as the width of his hand, maybe a little longer in the back? Again, if you pulled out these waves, would the hair be as long as the width of these hands? Now look at footage of the inmates. Their hair is all shorn. And European men in general were not wearing their hair that long at the time. An intelligent guess might be that these heads come from South America and were perhaps stolen out of a museum or purchased in a curio shop near the end of the war. Another thing to notice is the pedestal. It looks lopsided, and thus when you cut downward to make the flat surface for the thin brass inscription plate, which, by the way, is missing, then that will be asymmetrical also. But Germany is a country known for exactitude and precision craftsmanship. On this side, it's a beveled lathe thing. And on the other side, it's facets. We're supposed to believe that the German SS would go to all that work to make a shrunken head via a recipe from the South American headhunter tribes, and then put it on a pedestal that would barely get the grade of a C in American high school woodshop. There is a Caucasian shrunken head in a medical museum at Harvard University. We see that a Caucasian shrunken head actually looks Caucasian. The information on the Harvard website gives us an insight into the Buchenwald heads. We read, "Shrunken head of Caucasian woman, origin unknown, circa 1935. The above item is a genuine shrunken human head, which was displayed at the Warren Museum for many years as an original Jivaro Indian sansa. To the learned eye, however, it is most assuredly a fake, or at least an unintentional mistake to label it as authentic. Authentic sansas were created as trophies of war and to imprison the vengeful spirits of the murder victims. In certain indigenous South American tribes, such as the Jivaro, if a member of the tribe killed another person, the victim's head was shrunk and ceremonies were performed to trap the victim's spirit in the head to prevent it from harming the murderer. Because the heads were believed to contain a potentially dangerous spirit, great care was taken to prevent its escape through the eyes or mouth. In an authentic sansa, the mouth is tied closed with twine, carbon is rubbed into the skin, and the eyes are sewn closed to prevent the spirit's escape or allow it to see through the head. When the first sansas reached North America and Europe in the mid-19th century, they became very popular as curiosities. A market for genuine sansas rapidly developed, and the demand quickly exceeded the supply. This demand resulted in the manufacture of fake sansas by unscrupulous individuals in South America who were not affiliated in any way with the tribes. Nonetheless, these forgeries were unfailingly represented as being from indigenous South American tribes, such as the Jivaro, and this created confusion about both the meaning and origin of the practice of creating sansas. Like the one pictured above, fake sansas were often made from genuine human material. However, they were easy to spot as forgeries because they did not follow the techniques of the indigenous tribes. The Buchenwald heads are real heads but fake sansas, just like the Caucasian shrunken head at Harvard University.